A Radio 1 station. Boston's home for classic soul and R&B. 1090 AM. WILD. Boston.
Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. George Curry with us, and it is Exhale Friday. Let's go to Cincinnati, to Eric. Eric, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hello?
Hello. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah. This is Mr. Innovator. I want to tell you hello?
Yes.
Yes. Can you turn down for me, sir, I'm in Cincinnati out here. And I like innovation, and I have a lot of innovation ideals that can help bring revenues to the states, every 50 states. And I listen to the talk show, The Buzz, all the time. I'm not trying to give them bad reference, but they're not really trying to represent people who's trying to do great things. But to bring to your attention, I have an idea for innovation, which is gun control, and I was actually locked up in Justice Center, and they went inside my book and took my ideals out because I heard the lady talking about them. But at the same time, I lost my family because I was on drugs years back, and I tried to get some help from Children's Service, and I called down there because a lot of things in my family was going on between me and my wife. I have nothing to hide. But when I tried to get some help for myself, which I had a job, Children's Service sent the officer to the house, and they looked in the house and seen that it was messy. But it was only because we had Fogger bug spray to get rid of the bugs. And they came up with the cameras and interviewed us, and they took my kids from me, and we went to court. They took them and
hold on a minute, Eric, because you got something we need to look into. There seems to be a lot of different departments to your story. Hold on, let me get somebody to pick up and see if we can get someone to talk to you to work through all of this so we can find some way we can get to your good idea. Let's go to Marvis in Douglas, Georgia. Marvis, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hello, how are you doing? My name is Marvis. I'm in Douglasville, Georgia. Al, I was arrested. What happened, my daughter's house was burglarized, and somebody came in and really tore her house up. The police officers came out, fingerprinted the back door. Then, the insurance company began to repair the house. The police officers subpoenaed the records from the insurance company. They saw that the insurance money went directly to the contractors. Yet and still, Detective Bertera and Captain Shattuck subpoenaed the records, issued a warrant for my daughter's arrest. She was gone to Afghanistan. They came back and arrested me. I stayed 28 days in Douglas County Jail on a fraudulent warrant.
Why did they arrest you?
Trying to make her come back. And they gave me the same charges that they had issued her a warrant on, which a warrant should have never been issued against her because she hadn't done anything. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm following you.
But they issued the same warrant that was against her on me, trying to make her come back. It was totally fraudulent. I issued a complaint form to Captain Parker out at Villarica Police Department complaining about it, and I've yet to even hear any response in reference to...
When did you issue the complaint?
Maybe about a month ago.
All right, hold on a minute. Let me get your info. You're here in Atlanta?
I'm in Douglasville, Georgia, yes.
Douglasville. Hold on a minute, because let me see if I can get someone in the Atlanta office to check this out for you. Okay. Thank you for your call. Hold on. They'll get your information to us. Let's go to Siddiqui in Boston. Siddiqui, hello?
Yes, sir, Reverend Al. George, how you doing?
Hey, all right, how you doing?
Wow, okay.
I got something for you, brother. I'm definitely here to exhale here. I'm here doing some work, but I heard the brother on earlier that talked about the blog there about Dr. King and coming from a white supremacist group, and it was disturbing but expected. But I just needed to put to the YouTube brothers is that you're well aware of the fact that, and I know Reverend Sharpton, that for the last 10 years, myself and Minister Don Muhammad here in Boston and City Councilor Turner, we've been on this 10-year campaign in regards to get out information about the assassination of Dr. King. And it's really frustrating.
Stemming from the lawsuit of the family.
Yes, sir. There was a trial in 1999, a civil suit filed by the family. The jury came back with a verdict that James Earl Ray was not, in fact, the shooter, was just a pawn, and that agencies of the U.S. government and certain individuals were guilty of a conspiracy to kill Dr. King. The frustration is that folks all across the country, black folk all across the country, including black leadership, I heard the brother talking about the blog. We send it to the blogs. Everyone has this information. And so the bottom line is, like, I couldn't even enjoy this past Monday. I was sending out my blog that I have myself about the assassination, hoping that maybe this is the year that folks say, you know what, particularly black men, that will grab onto this and say, you know what, if we really want to honor Dr. King, then we'll bring those folks to justice that, in fact, killed him. I mean, when I read an article, and I'm assuming that you're familiar with the Simon Wiesenthal Center over there in Jerusalem, that they're Nazi hunters for Israel.
Yeah.
They graded different...
Hold on a minute. Okay. We're going to take a break. We'll hold you over, Siddiqui. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, right after this.
1090 WILDAF. WILD. Where information is power.
George Kerr still with us. Siddiqui in Boston. Go ahead, Siddiqui.
Yes, sir. I'm going to close with a comment. Then I had a couple questions for you, brothers, who I really respect. Let me just say that, like I said before, in regards to assassination of Dr. King, you've got the situation of the Simon Wiesenthal Center there based in Jerusalem. The Nazi hunters, they're tracking down people who are 95, 99 years old, who are former Nazis. And yet here we are in this country, and I should say the Wiesenthal Center, they graded countries in terms of assistance. They gave the United States and the U.S. Justice Department under Eric Holder an A for supporting them in terms of finding former Nazis here in this country. The same Justice Department who we sent letters to during both Bush administrations, the Clinton administrations, and the current administration, getting back form letters saying thank you for your basic interest. So the frustration here for me is, like, folks should go, as I said before, I've done this on your show a few times, Reverend Sharpton, I appreciate you allowing me to put this information on. They should go to www.thekingcenter.com and click on trial and get a transcript. It's not like we're making this up. You can go in there. The shooter was a now deceased former lieutenant in the Memphis Police Department, Lloyd Jowers. There's a mystery man called Raul. The person in the trial who was the weapons expert is Judge Joe Brown, who said that the weapon used by that belonged to James Earl Ray could not have been the weapon. Dr. King's security was, in fact, taken away. There was a special forces rifle team there. All this information is there. So for me, the question that I have for you and George, Rev, is at what time, particularly for brothers, because one of the reasons why a lot of times our women don't respect us is because of the fact that our testicles aren't where they should be. How can we set aside and talk, go to breakfasts and get ready for a monument and know that the killers of Dr. King are still at large? We have, in past years, had a resolution passed by the Boston City Council calling for support for the special grand jury. The black legislatures there, they had their conference.
I think you're right. George can respond for himself. I know that on last Sunday in New York, the King Memorial service at Riverside Church, the speaker was our chairman of National Action Network, Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, and they awarded the former executive director for Dr. King, Wyatt T. Walker, who was our first chairman of National Action Network. And Wyatt T. Walker said outright that they never believed James Earl Ray was the shooter. The family proved it, and we've got to deal with it.
I think it's pretty much undisputable he was involved. But to be able to go all over the world and have those kind of resources and escape that long, clearly in my mind there's no doubt that he was involved.
Can I just say this, that the bottom line is that he was involved, but he was a pawn in the case. He was used as the front man, but the shooter was his deceased lieutenant. And let me close with this, because I know you got to close, Rev. The only way that this is going to be brought to some type of conclusion is that there has to be a campaign by black folk in this country to say that we're going to bring these people to justice, because there seems to be some type of fear or even flash cowardice on the part of our community in terms of dealing with this. What a group of people do that we know of that would have someone like a Dr. King who died for us. We know who killed him, and yet we turn our heads.
I don't disagree. I thank you for bringing this again, and every time you call on, I'll let you talk about it.
Yes, sir.
I think, again, that I want to talk with Martin because I do not want to get ahead. One of the things I don't do is get ahead of families. That's why I don't get in cases unless the victim asks me.
Right.
The worst thing in the world is for an activist or an organization to get out there, and then somebody get out there and say they're speaking on their own, they're not speaking for us, and and then your adversarial media use that to discredit you.
Can I say this, Reverend Reverend Sharpton? That one thing I didn't mention was that after the trial, and we started our campaign, the now deceased Mrs. Coretta Scott King sent us a letter saying that we as a family, the King family, has done as much as we can with this trial. We are now counting on the community to bring these people to justice. So I feel like we've been given that permission. We just haven't completed the mandate.
Well, I think, again, I'm going to talk to Martin. I think that's important. And I do think that there are those that were with Dr. King in that era that agree with it. And clearly, Mrs. King and the family brought it to court. And I will follow that up, and we'll discuss that publicly. Thank you again, Siddiqui. Let's go.
Rev, did you read? You heard that Bernice is not going to take over SCLC?
Yeah, I just saw that on the wires. I don't know anything other than what I just saw on the wires, that she was elected last year and that she announced today or yesterday that she is not going to become president of SCLC.
Yeah. I heard that before. Charles Steele had told me that, the former president. He said, I doubt that she'll ever take it, because he felt that while they had all this trouble, there's been a whole lot of mess, that she should have stepped in and shown some leadership and just started to put the organization right. But there's been so many things wrong. Tramiel got indicted, I think, about 51 charges.
That was a former chairman.
Yeah, who still want to hold on, claim that he's still chairman. And you got the faction of that whole faction, and there's a whole lot of turmoil going on.
Well, that might be why she just rather not get involved. I don't know. I've not spoken with her or Martin. But I did see it on the wire services, and I'll certainly be talking to Martin over the weekend about all of this. Let's go to Miss Richardson. We only got a few minutes, but we got to get in. Miss Richardson.
Yes, good afternoon.
How you doing?
Fine. Hi, George. We love you dearly. And I have to commend George, Reverend, for speaking about baby Doc DeValier. This criminal is what I call him. He stole from those people. He stole everything, millions upon millions of dollars. Now he wants to come back, and we know what it's about. George, no, I know, you know, it's about money. The man is not going to do anything. He didn't do anything when he was there, when his father was there. They did nothing but contaminate that area and took everything, and then they go in exile and hide. Well, what kind of a man would go and hide someplace if he declares to be a man?
25 years.
Yeah, 25 years. So look, it will be bad. It'll be a bad situation if he is re-elected there, and the people can't not understand what this man is, his potential, what he wants to do, and that is to rob them again. And I don't care if they're black, white, polka dot. The man is a criminal, and a criminal is a criminal. And about the man that had the unfortunate incident of the police living in suburbs, that let me spot it right now that they probably thought he didn't live there, like so many of these white officers do. And it's so sad. So what we got to do, we need to bring a polygraph test in. And maybe you and George can comment on it next week and give me your opinion about...
All right, call me Monday, Miss Richardson. Thank you, George. Go to georgekerr.com and read what George has been talking about and what George has for you to think about. Let me thank my executive producer, Fatin Muhammad, technical producer, Lee Majors, phone screener, Clarence Richards. Most of all, let me thank you all week long for listening in, calling in. You that call in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyway. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, Tell somebody. All weekend long, Reverend Al told you personally. You gotta keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you Monday.
1090 WILDAF. WILD. Where information is power. Hey, Boston. Check out this week's New York Amsterdam news. Log on to AmsterdamNews.com and check out for Eleanor Tatum, courtesy of Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton, to touch on stories from an African-American perspective. From home news, sports, business, arts, entertainment, opinions, subscriptions, and more. Visit AmsterdamNews.com for your weekly mailing subscription. $20 for 6 months, $35 for 1 year. Listen out for Eleanor Tatum's views, thoughts, and opinions only on Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton, weekday afternoons, 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern, only on NewsTalk 1090 AM WILD Boston, where information is power. The Black News Roundtable with Eleanor Tatum and the Reverend Al Sharpton every Thursday on Keeping It Real.